Hi everybody, it's Sammy here, and in this video, I'm gonna be doing two separate videos for my movie reviews. This video I'm gonna be recording is gonna be the Laserdiscs I watched in April of 2026. We're gonna start with that first, and after when we're done recording that, I could start recording the Laserdisc movies I watched in May of 2026. I have a lot of good ones I'm about to show you all. So let's go into the April 2026 movie reviews with this movie right here that gets talked a lot, and it's a B trashy horror film, but it's one that gets talked a lot, by everybody. And, I watched it for the first time and I was very blown away from it. Carnosaur. This has Diane Ladd. This also stars, there's other people in this too, but I don't see the original cast. I know this has Clint Howard in it too, but show you the front. It's in very nice shape. And this is a Roger Corman executive produced film from New Horizons Home Video. Now, what's so interesting about this release is, you get the movie, of course, and you get the credits, but what I haven't seen in this Laserdisc release from the chapter index that appears to be on this Laserdisc release is there's a trailer to this release, like a theatrical trailer. But there's also there's also a quick minute interview with the producer and the director of the film and all stuff, how they compare Carnosaur to Jurassic Park and all stuff. You don't see that in the chapter index of this Laserdisc release, but you do see it when you have this Laserdisc on your TV. So the special features in this release of Carnosaur are hidden. So just letting you know, all of you. But this is one of the best, probably one of my absolute favorite Roger Corman executive produced films I have seen on Laserdisc. It is such a classic. It's got some really crazy good creature effects from the dinosaur who comes from chicken eggs. That they produce chicken eggs and build chickens out of them, but then the chickens like turned themselves from species to this creature right there that looks like a dinosaur, but it's called Carnosaur. So, basically dinosaur coming out from a chicken egg, that turns itself and kills people, destroys everything and all that stuff, and it's so much fun. Such a fun watch, this movie. It doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better than this. If you haven't seen Carnosaur, though, I don't know what the hell are you missing out on. Please see it, because it'll blow your mind away like I did. So, yeah. Totally worth checking out as well. Definitely can't wait to watch that again. Sorry, 1 second. There's the blankets on the couch. Gotta move that. Alright. Next one we got right here. This is a pretty good movie. Wasn't expecting anything from it. It's an independent film. Although, I was expecting it to be a little bit trashy. But it was still good. Love in a 45. It's a Vidmark Entertainment title here. In the end, there are only two things that matter. This is a really the story in this film is really really cool. Like it's got such a good vibe to it, you know, with the story, the characters, and what's going on in the movie and all stuff. It's pretty cool. In the tradition of Pulp Fiction, True Romance, and Reservoir Dogs, Love in the 45 is a cutting-edge story of two fugitive lovers on a fast and furious run for freedom, with a pounding soundtrack and brilliant performances from a sexy young cast. This raw and turbulent film shows the talents of a new force in filmmaking. Waddy, who plays as Gil Bellows, Starlene, who plays as Renee Zellweger, and their friends are just as tough and dangerous as the Texas town they live in. When Waddy and his psychotic partner, Billy Mack, who plays as Rory Cochrane, murder a young girl in a botched robbery, Waddy and Starlene turn their flight into a wild honeymoon joyride, where all you need for a good time is Love in a 45. This is one jagged, twisting ride you'll never forget. The soundtrack in this movie is spectacular. Like, it's basically like all alternative rock and like some great like songs from the 90s that are in this film from the soundtrack. The story's really good. The plot to it's really good. And yeah, had no issues watching this film. I enjoyed it a lot. Alright, speaking of Vidmark, this is a movie that I saw that Ty White watched and got me really impressed to check this one out. Blackout with Brian Bosworth. Let me show you the back to this one here. Really cool. I think this is this movie is known as Midnight Heat. So, but this movie is basically, I'll talk a little bit about it. So this movie is basically about Brian Bosworth, who leaves his job from the bank and goes home, and then he gets hit by a car, and then all of a sudden he's in the hospital, you know, trying to figure out who he is and what kind of person he is. And then, you know, he gets released from the hospital, and then he doesn't know what he's about, and he doesn't know what he did and all that stuff. So he just like researches his past or something and finds out who he is. And then these mob guys that, you know, I think he used to work for them and all stuff, you know, they go after him and his partner, and you know, all hell breaks loose with them and the mob guys and all. It's a fun movie. Pretty good action in this movie, and Brian Bosworth's character is really, really amazing as well in this film. But yeah, Blackout. Check it out, guys. Bet you all won't be disappointed by it like I was not disappointed by it. But highly recommend check out Blackout. It's good trash. Alright. The next movie we got here. Now, this movie I got for a steal. $6 at Wall to Wall Sound and Video. And this movie, I think, goes for like $25 or $40 something on eBay or on LEDB. And it's a 1999 film. And I enjoyed watching. Now, you all know that I like watching trash, and I like watching, you know, cult classics and all. You know, whether trash is hardcore, softcore, or if I like watching like a cult classic like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, or one of John Hughes's classics like The Breakfast Club or 16 Candles. Well, I like to watch those kind of movies, but I like to watch movies that are fun, but if they're more fun from the late 90s. And this film I'm about to show you guys is a late 90s film that I really enjoyed for some reason. And I always thought late 90s films that are fun, like this one here, are just amazing. And, so, you see the characters, the story, and how the movie looks and all stuff. I like to watch late 90s films, not just trash, hardcore, softcore, or cult classics. Of course, this is not a cult classic, but it's a fun movie. The Mod Squad. This has Claire Danes, Omar Epps, and Giovanni Ribisi. I'll show you the back. Now I did not even know this movie was named after the TV show The Mod Squad. Now, I've never seen a TV show, The Mod Squad, but, and I didn't even know that TV show existed on Laserdisc. So, I'm guessing this movie is phrasing from the TV show The Mod Squad, or if, like, they're ripping off some kind of, like, something, that's from the TV show The Mod Squad. But either way, this movie is basically about these free undercover agents who are like in a club, and they try to find out what was going wrong, what the issue was, and all, everything in the club. And they're basically, as I said, undercover agents. They go to this another club there, like a nightclub. They kind of work there, and kind of like watch the club to see if everyone's safe. And see if everyone's safe, and to make sure if everyone's having a good time and all. Claire Danes, she meets this stranger who works at this nightclub that she becomes good friends with, and then all of a sudden, like, I think Giovanni Ribisi right there gets involved in an altercation or something with one stranger that is like, I think, a customer at a club, that's there. But then they blew their cover, and then they separate their ways a little bit, and then they started to get back together, and finding and doing their own job, doing their mission, and controlling what's going on around the county and all around the town. I think the three characters in this film are very likable. Like, I really enjoyed what they did in this film, and I really enjoyed some of the acting in it as well. And it just feels a lot of fun for me to watch and to check it out. As a late 90s film that I'm seeing, but late 90s films like this that are fun can't get any better than this. Some good action, some good twists, some good story, some good characters, and a good story and a good twist, a good storyline to it as well. But if you're really into late 90s films. Now, I did look this up. This is clarified as a B movie, even though it's from MGM Home Entertainment and that it's an MGM film. This is a B movie, but if you really like late 90s films that are just entertaining and fun, I would definitely recommend checking this one out. This got a lot of pretty bad reviews I have seen on IMDb and on anywhere else. I didn't think this did. I didn't think this did very well in the box office when it was released, but it's still fun. It's very entertaining. It's got a good vibe to it, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. Fun late 90s films like this, once again, can't get any better than this. So there you go, The Mod Squad. I would watch it again if I were you too. Alright, the next movie we're going here, this is a really good one. I was really impressed with this one here. Hideaway. It's got Jeff Goldblum, Christine Lottie, whatever. And it's got Alicia Silverstone in it. Which, as you can see, Alicia Silverstone's on the front cover with Jeff Goldblum. But, this movie's basically about, Jeff Goldblum, living his life with his wife, Christine Lottie, along with their daughter, who's, I believe, named, Jesus. I'm not going to remember her name. I don't remember her name, but, they lived their life with Alicia Silverstone, in this film. And then they go on some kind of, adventure, where they travel to, for, a hiking trip, or, some kind of, night outing, but then they see his truck, and they pull the brakes, their car is breaking down, Alicia Silverstone gets out of the car, and then Christine Lottie and Jeff Goldblum get into an accident. Jeff Goldblum goes to the hospital, and he can't think well. He has some kind of brain tumor thing that he was diagnosed with after getting into an accident. So he can't remember who he was, and he can't remember what he did and all. He's trying to remember things and see things, but then this killer, who I believe is this one with long hair. That's the guy that that's trying to control Alicia Silverstone, Christine Lottie, and Jeff Goldblum in life, and he goes and kidnaps Alicia Silverstone and Christine Lottie, and Jeff Goldblum. For some reason, the character's name for Jeff Goldblum doesn't even. There's Hatch Harrison. Okay, Hatch Harrison. He goes after the killer and fights against him, and he just wants to save his daughter and his wife and from all of this. It's a really good thriller, really good sharp edge twists in the film, and very good acting, and yeah, I would definitely recommend this one. Hideaway, this was well done. Definitely can't wait to spin that one again. Alright, next one we got here. Now this is a fun movie. I originally had this in my collection last year. Never got a chance to watch it because it was sitting in my backlog for so long, but Now I finally watched it this year and was really blown away from it. The Hunted. This has got Christopher Lambert, John Lone, and Joan Chen. One night of passion, centuries of hate, the battle has begun. This is basically it's about Christopher Lambert going on a business trip in Japan, with his own clients or his own workers. Then he meets this beautiful chick at some club. He falls in love with her, and then, him and her seduce each other, but when these fugitive ninjas came to break into her own place, Christopher Lambert goes after them and she gets killed. The only thing that bothers me is Joan Chen doesn't appear in the whole entire film for that character. I thought she was so beautiful. But then Christopher Lambert goes after the ninjas. He partners with these I believe samurais that go after the ninjas that killed Joan Chen. It's very fun. Very great ninja samurai action in the film, and this was a lot of fun for me to see. And I would definitely recommend this movie to everybody who wants to see it. I think it didn't do well when it came out, but it's fun. It's good trash, and I would definitely recommend everyone checking it out. If you love Christopher Lambert, or if you like watching ninja films, definitely a fun one to see. Alright, this next one right here we got. This one I've always been wanting to watch for quite a while as well. Public Enemies with Teresa Russell, Eric Roberts, and Alyssa Milano. No one could stop them. This movie was a lot of fun, I gotta say. Definitely a lot of great action in this film. The chemistry between Eric Roberts and Teresa Russell goes very well. Alyssa Milano, she's very beautiful in this film. It's basically about, Eric Roberts and Teresa Russell raising a family and getting kids and all, and training them how to become, certified mob killers. In this movie, this is kind of like a gangster film, but it's really fun, and lots of great action in it, and good story, and it's taking place, I think, in a historic town where this film was filmed. But yeah, I had a great time with this film, and I enjoyed it a lot. Definitely recommend that one too as well. Next one we got right here. Okay, this movie I really just as enjoyed watching it as I watched the First Species movie. Which the First Species movie is an absolute banger. Even though it's very common on Laserdisc, it's an absolute banger. And this sequel's pretty good too. Species 2, Mating Season Begins. This has got a really nice, cool looking cover art, by the way. As you can see, this woman's face turning into a creature. Here's the back. This movie is about, I'm going to talk a lot about this, as I'm going to try to put in details about it, but it's kind of similar thing to what happened in the First Species, but Natasha Henstridge, who was in the First Species film, she got out of like some kind of like laboratory and escaped. She doesn't yet escape out of laboratory in the majority of this film, but she controls some characters that are in this film. And Michael Madsen, who was in the first Species movie, who was like, the investigator trying to stop Natasha Henstridge, turning into a creature and all. Well, in this sequel, Michael Madsen turns himself into a creature that, like some kind of alien where he goes from being a person to being an alien. In the beginning of the film, these three people are like on a space mission or something like that, and then they try to get back into Earth, and the board of like administrative holds this meeting for the people that were on space. The father was proud of him, was proud of Michael Madsen for what he did, and then all of a sudden, revenge starts to go as all things go wrong with Michael Madsen and what he's doing and all this stuff. He kills himself in this film and turns himself into an alien. I think side 2, in the beginning of it, you see Michael Madsen go to some grocery store, and he runs into his friend at the grocery store, and having a conversation, all stuff. But then when they say goodbye, Michael Madsen turns kind of weird, as he's chasing his friend, from the grocery store into the parking lot. Police are after him and all that, and I think almost at the near end, Michael Madsen, Natasha Henstridge escaped out of the laboratory, and at like side 2 in the middle of the film, her and Michael Madsen fall in love with each other, and then they turn into some kind of species, then they turn into aliens or some kind of monsters in this film where the other people are trying to fight against them and all. And the special effects in the Species films are amazing. Like, it's very well done, and I like the chemistry too, with how the Species films are. But I told you before, I love the first Species film, but the second one's really good too. And if you haven't seen Species 1 and 2, please check them out. Species 1, I said before, it's very common. Species 2, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get a copy of it because it's kind of hard to find. But if you do get it, I wish you the best in finding it. If you want to watch Species 2 on Laserdisc after watching the first Species film on Laserdisc. But totally recommend Species 2 to everybody, and Species 1 as well. Alright, I'm not gonna talk a lot about this. I think some people know about this film. It's a classic. It's a French film, but here's something to know about this year's pressing on Laserdisc. This is the English dubbed version of Emmanuel. Yeah, as you can see here, a color film dubbed in English, which I didn't even know until I picked it up. But I haven't seen the French version of it, so I'm probably gonna have to get around to watching the French version of it soon if it's ever available for me to check it out. But this is a good film, but I just feel like the American acting to it is kind of a little bit off. It could have done a lot better of a job with the American dub and all. But if I was able to watch the French version of this film, I would enjoy this one. I would enjoy it a lot more. But it is what it is. It's Emmanuel. Can't go wrong with that. And then last but not least, for the April movie reviews of the Laserdisc I've watched. Now, this one I really, absolutely enjoyed quite a lot. And I'm very happy to own this on Laserdisc. Ronin with Robert De Niro. This has also got Jean Reno. Natasha McElhone, Stellan Skarsgård, Jonathan Pryce, and Sean Bean. This is my favorite Ace. This probably has to be my favorite Dolby Digital AC3 title, just because what's going on with the action, the stunts, the explosions, and the acting and the story of it. It's all well done. This might even be my favorite Robert De Niro film that I've watched. Out of all the films I've watched from Robert De Niro, this was basically Robert De Niro, meets up with this special forces team, and Jean Reno was in the special forces team. They're trying to control the world and all, but then when they meet these guys there that are solving some conspiracy, they go after them. And plenty of good car chases, lots of good shit going on in this film, and good acting, great shooting with the weapons in this film as well. And yeah, I was really blown away by this film. Can't give too much plot. I think everybody knows this movie, but Ronin is just a classic if you haven't seen it. It's totally worth the watch, guys. Alright, stay tuned for my Laserdisc movie reviews in May of 2026.